Hey there, I'm Joe Holberg, founder and CEO of Spring. In this video, I'm going to tell you how you can get up to 100% of your federal student loans forgiven, like erased, wiped out, completely gone. We will walk you through the new and improved changes to the federal program called Public Service Loan Forgiveness and the exact steps you need to take to become eligible to get your student loans forgiven. First, some context that will help you understand what Spring is and who we are. We are a team of former educators ourselves. I was a middle school math teacher on the west side of Chicago for years, and after seeing so many of my colleagues struggle with their finances, I started Spring to help educators build their financial knowledge and to reach their financial goals while making roles in education more financially sustainable. Today, Spring is available to over 2,000 KIPP educators nationwide at 8 regions, over 20 Teach for America regions, and to educators like you at other top charter networks like Noble, DC Prep, and others from coast to coast. We are on a mission to help you access free, unbiased financial information while making your career in education as financially stress-free and sustainable as possible. Okay, let's get your student loans forgiven. This opportunity exists because of the impact COVID has had on people's finances, and the federal government has opened up a one-time, unbelievably monumental window from now until October 31st, 2022 for educators and nonprofit employees just like you to sign up for a program called Public Service Loan Forgiveness. Even if you've already heard about Public Service Loan Forgiveness, also known as PSLF, you should know that there have been some massive and recent changes that are making it easier than ever to qualify for loan forgiveness that we'll cover today. But, and here's the huge catch, you actually have to follow the steps that I will show you in this video if you want to get your loans forgiven. This will not happen automatically. Let's first look at the new changes that are designed to make it easier to get your loans forgiven. The single biggest change is that you can now get retroactive credit for past periods of repayment that otherwise would not have qualified you for PSLF. Let's look at an example to make sense of this. Meet Sharon. Sharon was an English teacher from 2017 to 2020. In 2020, she became a Dean of Instruction. Sharon just learned about PSLF today and is excited to learn that she needs to make 120 payments in order to get her loans canceled. She's been making payments since 2017 and estimates she's made 60 payments. Unfortunately, before the PSLF waiver, she was entirely out of luck and none of her past time counted towards PSLF, and she had to start from scratch. This is the entire point of the waiver though. So Sharon can now get all of her previously qualifying time in her education roles counted towards PSLF if she applies before October 31st of 2022. This is huge, right? This means that you, right here, right now, can get credit for all of the time you've worked in education as a teacher, school counselor, nonprofit worker, and in public service more generally, and have it retroactively counted. For Sharon, this means that if she enrolls and signs up to be in the PSLF program, she will get her loans forgiven in 5 years in the year 2027, instead of having to start over and work 10 more years until 2032 before her loans are wiped out. The big takeaway from this change is that your previous time can now count towards PSLF, and you might be much closer to getting your loans forgiven than you think. That's not the only big advantageous change to share with you. Additional changes that benefit you are more loan types can be counted towards PSLF, including direct loans, federal family education loans, Perkins loans, and more. Payments under both the standard repayment plan and income-driven repayment plans count. Periods of repayment before consolidation count, and payments that were late or less than the amount due count. If you have already received teacher loan forgiveness for 5 consecutive years of teaching, that time will still count towards PSLF. If you'd like to read about the requirements that are being waived in more detail, you can do so on the official student aid website. Be cautious of PSLF and waiver information on other websites that are not federal websites like studentaid.gov and the Department of Education website. Let's briefly cover some of the unchanged requirements. You still need to make 120 qualifying payments. This can be consecutive or non-consecutive. You can leave a public service role and come back at any time to resume making qualifying payments as you work towards 120 payments. Being employed by a qualifying employer, such as the government, a 501c3 nonprofit, or a school, working full-time, having direct loans or consolidating them into direct loans. We'll cover what you need to do in order to make your loans direct loans in a minute. Filling out paperwork and certifying your qualifying employment for the periods of time that you want to count towards PSLF. As a reminder on this point, getting PSLF will not happen automatically. You need to follow the steps we're about to cover in order to get your loans forgiven. Only loan payments made on or after October 1st of 2007 can count, since that is when the PSLF program began. This last section is going to tell you what actions you need to take in order to take advantage of the one-time waiver and get as much credit towards PSLF as possible, so you are on track to get your loans forgiven as soon as possible. First, you will need to consolidate your loans via studentaid.gov. Our recommendation is that you follow the process outlined by the federal government and not the one outlined by your current student loan servicers such as Navient, Great Lakes, Melnet, AES, and others. These private student loan servicers are notorious for messing up paperwork, giving borrowers incorrect or misleading information, and miscounting or not counting your time towards PSLF accurately. The best path forward is to follow the studentaid.gov steps shown here. You can start and finish the consolidation process in about 20 minutes, and to get started, navigate to this site. You will need your FSA ID to complete the consolidation process. If you don't have one, you can create an account here. The second step, which is during the consolidation process, is to select one of the income-driven repayment plans. While there are many to choose from, the government recommends 3 plans to get the most out of PSLF: income-based repayment, known as IBR, income contingent repayment, known as ICR, and pay-as-you-earn, known as PAY. For more on income-driven repayment plans related to PSLF, check out this site. Once you have consolidated your loans and selected a repayment plan, you are ready for the last step, which is to submit your forms for PSLF. While you can print off and fill out the form itself, we strongly recommend using the PSLF help tool via studentaid.gov here. Using the help tool will guide you to the forms you need to fill out for both past employment that may be eligible for PSLF under the waiver, and get you set up with the forms you will need to submit going forward. I will admit that this is a lot of information to cover in one video, so if you need to go back to review anything, please make sure you do so to make sure that you know the best course of action for your specific situation. To summarize everything we covered today, first, the government wants to forgive your federal student loans, and they have created a one-time limited waiver from now until October 31st of 2022 for you to apply to get your loans forgiven. Number 2, unlike before, you may be eligible to get previous time spent as a teacher, nonprofit employee, or public servant counted towards PSLF. This represents a massive opportunity for millions of student loan borrowers. Number 3, you must act. This process is not automatic. You need to consolidate your loans, enter an income-driven repayment plan, and then fill out the relevant PSLF forms using the PSLF Help Tool. In closing, Spring and our team of financial coaches are here to support you in this process. This is the reason we exist. As former educators ourselves, we believe that you matter, and supporting you in getting your loans forgiven and improving your financial wellness is of the utmost importance. If your school or nonprofit offers Spring to you as a benefit already, you can create your account at hellospring.io, and you can schedule a financial coaching session with one of our coaches anytime if you need help. If your organization doesn't offer Spring yet, email us at info@hellospring.io and we'll help you advocate for the support you deserve.